Marlowe no longer ran toward the door when the leash came out. Years ago, the old English bulldog used to explode with excitement at signs of adventure. Car keys jingling, shoes by the hallway, the sound of the cabinet where his treats were kept. Now age moved through him quietly. His muzzle had turned almost gray. One back leg trembled when he stood too quickly, and sometimes he paused in the middle of rooms as if memory itself had become heavy. The moment Elijah picked up the faded blue leash beside the door, Marlowe slowly lifted his head from the couch. His cloudy brown eyes still recognized that sound. Elijah knelt carefully in front of him. "You want to go see the ocean one more time?" Marlowe blinked slowly. That was enough. The trip to the beach took almost 2 hours. Marlowe sat in the passenger seat, wrapped in his old blanket while music played through the speakers. One of Elijah's hands rested on the steering wheel while the other reached over to scratch behind Marlowe's ear at red lights. Outside the windows, cities faded into highways. Highways faded into open sky. A small stack of old photographs rested on the dashboard, held down by sunglasses and parking receipts. Most were around the corners now. Marlowe as a puppy sleeping inside a laundry basket. Marlowe covered in mud after destroying Elijah's backyard. One blurry photo from years ago showed Elijah laughing by the ocean while Marlowe barked at waves twice his size. Back then, they both moved differently. Younger, louder. Certain time would wait for them. When they finally reached the beach, Elijah parked near the quieter end. The sky hung pale above the water while gulls drifted overhead. Marlowe stared toward the ocean through the windshield. His tail moved once against the seat. Elijah smiled faintly. "I know." Getting him out of the car took time now. Elijah wrapped one arm beneath Marlowe's chest and another beneath his back legs before gently lifting him against his chest. Marlowe grunted, but relaxed once he felt steady. The ocean air carried salt across the shoreline. For a while, Elijah simply walked. No phone, no music. Only waves folding onto sand like breathing. Marlowe rested quietly in his arms, watching everything pass by. Children chased kites farther down the beach, while distant laughter drifted through the wind. Somewhere nearby, someone grilled food that smelled of charcoal and lemon. It reminded Elijah of summers that no longer existed. Eventually, he carried Marlowe beneath the wooden pier, where sunlight stretched in long golden lines across the sand. There, he finally sat down. Marlowe shifted beside him, settling heavily against Elijah's leg. For nearly an hour, neither of them moved much. Elijah watched the tide roll inward, while his fingers traced the wrinkles along Marlowe's face. The bulldog's breathing had become slower, softer too. Age sanded everything down eventually. Even love became quieter. A small breeze lifted the edges of the photographs resting beside them in the sand. Elijah picked one up. It showed Marlowe at 3 years old, wearing a birthday hat while staring proudly at a cake shaped like a fire hydrant. Elijah laughed under his breath. Marlowe opened one eye briefly at the sound before closing it again. The sun began lowering toward the horizon, painting the shoreline in deep amber light. Elijah looked over. Marlowe had fallen asleep beside him, peaceful, the kind of sleep that comes only from feeling safe enough to completely let go. For a moment, Elijah simply watched him breathe. Then carefully, gently, he leaned down and pressed his forehead against Marlowe's. No dramatic speech, no desperate promises, just gratitude too deep for language. When it was finally time to leave, Elijah lifted Marlowe back into his arms and carried him toward the car, while sunset light reflected across the old bulldog's wrinkles. The ocean continued moving behind them, endless, patient, still there long after footprints disappeared.